So I can hardly contain myself. I'm really excited about this. I was looking at this last night and looking at what information I had kind of pulled together over the years about healing and how it happens and all this kind of thing. And some questions have been coming up lately that caused me to kind of ask myself how it all happens and why it doesn't happen sometimes. And I guess my thought about this talk is I'm not all knowing by any means, but I have a certain theory that's kind of come about from doing lots of healing sessions and working with people and what patterns that I've seen in myself and other people. And I've come up with this. And so it seems to work pretty well for me. And it may be that in some time in the near future, I may be full of shit. But for now, it seems like a pretty good theory, and I'm kind of pulling in from different sources like Teal Swan, Abraham Hicks, Dr. Gabor Mate, and different researchers, um, and different books and things that talk about um, how pain and illness is associated with emotional trauma or negative emotions, and all that. Just kind of pull all these things together, and it's all kind of pointing to some universal truths, maybe about healing. And so let me dive in here. I've got lots of information here to share. So we're going to go over our normal 20 minutes, and it's probably going to go, the full 30 minutes. So here we go. Illnesses all seem to have an emotional component to them and an associated belief program. These programs of the mind have been created through years of conditioning and can be difficult to resolve. These programs initially get created when something is said or done, and our mind reacts with a reaction, which turns into a conditioned response, or what I would call a program. This happens so much that we start to identify ourselves with the programs. When these programs are negative or destructive in nature, they will lead to corresponding physical illnesses and pain. And I'm pointing to a book by Dr. Gabor Mate, which is a real genius in this field and addictions, and it's called When the Body Says No. And it's just been very enlightening. And of course, Louise Hay, Heal Your Body is a great reference manual that talks about, it's kind of a reflection of all her research over the decades that she did. And then Yvette Rose, who has a book called Metaphysical Anatomy, and it's a 740 some page amazing book that has all these things we're talking about. So also, if you've researched ayahuasca, which is a psychoactive plant used in conjunction with another plant for shamanic healing, and the ceremonies associated with, quote, the mother vine, you'll hear stories of great healing until the person goes back to their daily routine of limiting beliefs, negative patterns, and mind-generated programs. So you hear a lot of stories about people getting real success with ayahuasca. In fact, Dr. Gabor Mate really promotes this ayahuasca ceremony in a sacred way to help heal addiction, and he's really hip to the benefits of that. And there's also the possibility of someone not healing, not releasing those beliefs and patterns that kind of develop the thing. So, why does this happen? And can someone heal me? This question came up recently, and I started to really think about this because this question has kind of been on my mind in my heart about. Well, we just saw this movie, Valerie and I, and it was called Grace and Grit. Man, that was a touching movie with um, I want to say Fred Wilbur. I may have it wrong, but Ken, Ken Wilbur. The story about his wife going through cancer, and there's a scene in there where this metaphysical woman is doing healing on people, and she says, "Oh, you've got 10 channels open on your one side of your brain, and then seven only open, and I'm going to open up three more. Oh, I just opened up three more." And there's a little part of me that's my science in my more practical side that says, "Really?" But I don't want to be closed off to it, but I would do want to see if I can come to like a balanced understanding of it. And so I wanted to start to investigate that question and what feels the best to me. So there we go. As soon as the person gives up control by putting their healing in another's hands, they may release enough resistance to allow their own healing. What the quote healer does from that point on is inconsequential. I know this kind of, like, even for me, it kind of stirs me up a little bit. You mean I'm not doing anything? But what about my heart? And what about my connection and all that? And that's just an kind of an unknown answer right now. And but I'm kind of poking around at um, maybe what's happening is that when I say yes for someone to do healing on me or provide healing for me, the moment that I say yes, the moment that I give up complete control, that could be a moment where all the healing happens, and then they're just kind of um, further activating or further grounding in that healing, or maybe nothing. Maybe it's just it's already done, and they're just going through the ritual. I'm really not really sure about that. But if they ask for healing and all the while run a program or a belief that their condition is more important to keep, healing would not occur or last. You see that part? It could be a very profound thing, but or profound healing. But if they somewhere in their subconscious believe that what they're getting from the pain or the illness or the condition is giving them what they need, then there's going to be a background program or resistance that says, "Nope, I'm getting what I need with this." And one of the things is there are certain illnesses that provide that person with lots of support and love and caretaking. And it may be that they're inside, deep inside, they're saying, "This is pretty good. This is better than what I was experiencing before." So the thought of releasing that condition for the unknown, am I going to get those needs met? Am I going to get that support and that caretaking and receive all the love and support that I'm getting with this condition? So it's not anything that really anyone wants to admit to, but there's a possibility that that's happening deep inside where we don't even know that it's happening. So again, for the patient, the benefits of the illness are perceived to outweigh the unknown state and benefits of wellness. Sometimes a person will be in a state of, quote, "I'm the one who has tried everything. Watch, I'm not going to get better." And I've been with people like that, and I've probably had some of that myself, where like the path, the story is, I'm trying everything. I'm trying everything. Oh, I've tried this too. I think I've had that thing with like opening up my third eye or getting guides and that kind of thing. Like I've tried all these things, and my story would be, I've tried everything. Watch, I'm not gonna open up my third eye. Watch, I'm not gonna get connected with my guides. And so that whatever I'm getting from that is kind of standing in the way of me creating this other thing. Or possibly that they have hopelessness as one of their themes. So before I talked about that, we all sort of have a theme in this physical life. And my theme was guilt and obligation, insignificance, and so on. So it may be that someone has this theme going on of hopelessness, and that's just kind of been running the show in the background. So whatever gets created in their life has that tinge of hopelessness in it. It may be time to ask, what is this pattern or program giving to me? Is this pattern or this illness, if this pattern or illness was cleared, what would I lose? For me, if I cleared my pattern of guilt and obligation, I might lose love, I might lose significance, I might lose appreciation and acknowledgement. This is what Teal Swan has to say about this whole idea about why people don't heal. Most people are too afraid to question their realities and perceptions because they are too afraid to unravel the fabric of the reality that allows them to comfort themselves. I think I need to say that one again. Most people are too afraid to question their realities and perceptions because they are too afraid to unravel the fabric of the reality that allows them to comfort themselves. They want to preserve their sense of certainty by maintaining illusions. Illusions, at least, promise that everything was okay, is okay, and will be okay. This is why there are not more people in the business of self awareness. That's a tough one. I know that the way that she looks at things, it really causes things to be stirred up in a way that's, a little bit uncomfortable. But if we just take a moment in that uncomfortableness of could that possibly be true, it really helps me to kind of separate myself out from my conditioning or from my egoic mind, that just to know and just admit, be honest with myself, my egoic mind can be kind of messed up. It can be real wacky and monkey mind and come up with some crazy stuff. I've known that. I've had lots of history with that. So, and that would be where this thing is coming from. That would be where this idea or belief is coming from. So I'm the one who's aware of it. And there's this aspect of me that just needs love and affection and attention, and also to kind of let that dissipate into a truth. So here's what Abraham Hicks says, and she has a lot to say about this. So, in your world today, there are countless action remedies, medicines, surgeries, and exercises offered, but there are not enough actions in the world to compensate for vibrational resistance. Since every disease or unwanted condition exists because well being is being disallowed, then in the absence of that disallowance, well being will return. Here's some examples: resentments you wish to keep, guilt you don't want to look at, or fear that causes you anxiety to think about. Those all things kind of keep us in that box. It is a common thing for people to begin to lean in the direction of recovery only to stop and take score too soon. I know I've done that myself. You know, I'm I feel so confident sometimes about my ability to heal myself and to shift things. And so when I don't see it right away, I start, oh, I'll try something else. Oh, I'll try something else. When it's going to happen when it's supposed to happen. And there are so many other things involved in that. So when they still find unwanted symptoms like myself or conditions, then they offer resistant thought and lose the improved ground they have gained. With consistent releasing of resistance, all unwanted conditions will subside, returning you to your natural state of well-being. If you could stand here sick with 10 illnesses today and tomorrow have no evidence of any of them, I'm sorry, you could stand here sick with 10 illnesses today and tomorrow have no evidence of any of them. Your body has the ability to replenish itself that fast, but most of you do not have the ability to change your thoughts that fast. So the amount of time that it takes between sickness and wellness is only the amount of time that it takes for me to figure out how to let it in, for me to figure out how to feel good when I'm looking at something that makes me feel bad. When you are in vibrational harmony, your body produces whatever it needs to remain in perfect balance. And I just got that last sentence, I just got that today in my email. So the next step here, how does healing happen? Well, again, this is just a kind of a theory that I've concocted through listening and reading and experiencing. Just like happiness is our natural state, there's not a need to create happiness, but to find it running within, yet covered up with other states. When resistance is released and a person comes back into oneness, this is healing and wellness is here. A distraction may be required to allow the destructive mind program to pause long enough for the natural state of wellness to be experienced. Distractions can be breath work, sound therapy, Reiki, counseling, shamanic rituals, EFT or tapping, theta healing, emotion code, didgeridoo, drumming, ayahuasca, or psilocybin therapy. And for certain people can all serve as distractions to the resistance or the mind program. And that one stirred me up a little bit too, this kind of epiphany that came in. Is that, you mean I'm not talented? you know, I don't have this skill with my didgeridoo or with my drumming or with my shamanic healing or with my Reiki and all these different modalities. And that felt good to let that go, to get that out of me, just let that out of me, that to any thought that it's because of my skill or something. Um, that there's a part of that that kind of really helps to engage myself and love myself and feel good about myself and um, feel motivated to do these things with also the understanding that there's something else going on besides what I've trained for. So let's see. All these for certain people can all serve as distractions to the resistance or mind program for enough time to break the pattern or halt the program and allow the mind body wellness again, its natural state. If you consider yourself in the healing arts or any heart, HEART, healing art, isn't that funny? You are a catalyst for healing to occur through a distraction. And when I thought about that, I just said, well, what if I just let that be? What if I let it just be that it is just a distraction? What if that, my hands in there aren't really doing something that I just was okay with it just being, I'm just distracting. How does that feel? How does that feel to my ego? And it feels like very liberating just to say, well, I'm just creating the distraction. So, on a soul level, we are and want to be in charge of our own healing. On an egoic or physical level, we tend to want someone else to heal us for us. Now, ready for another mind blown moment for healers? On another level, consider that there is no other. And the distraction that you are creating is actually for yourself and is reflected outside yourself to this person you call patient or client. Yikes. So we attract those in front of us that are vehicles for our own healing, quote, experience. For a healer to heal, he or she must realize oneness and that the illness, and now I'm getting emotional. For a healer to heal, he or she must realize oneness and that the illness is within them. Heal themselves and thereby accentuate the healing in this, quote, other. I especially see this when people come for healing of something that I myself have been working with. And that's the trippy part when I'm in the session and I'm talking these things that should come right back to me. And I'm just wondering, are these people like secretly don't need to be here except for me? Now for another mind-blowing moment. I'm going to go really deep in this one. In the previous example, I distinctly said healing experience. You as the soul, or I am, are the only knower and the only experiencer. We exist or abide only as loving awareness. An easier way of understanding this concept is to think of the experience of dreaming. You, the dreamer, are untouchable in the dream. You absolutely experience the dream. It is not the character in the dream who knows and experiences. We, as conscious awareness, are the dreamer. We keep ourselves in the karmic loop by continuing to identify ourselves with the character and what the conditioned mind produces, which is programs. And yet, within every experience, there is loving awareness, even in anger, even in sadness, even in fear. So, what to do? Oh, what to do? Follow your hearts and your excitement. Be open to a perspective that provides expansion and happiness in your life. Ask yourself, how would my life change if I loved myself in all ways more than anything or anyone? Why does my mind have a rebuttal to that question? What if you surrendered and embraced the truth of who you are? You are not really here. You are not seeing through your eyes. You are seeing through the body. Consider that every time you've had a thought about something or someone, it was never true. It was only a thought. And I'll leave you with this last quote that I read. And this is a quote that is not meant to kind of, it's one of these ones that you got to ponder on and do a little meditation on. The moment a child is told what a bird is, if they believe what they're told, then they will never see a bird again. They will only see their thoughts. Thank you. Bless you. I love you. Have a wonderful day. And I'll see you next time. I've decided through the coaxing of some very loving friends that I will continue to do the video program. And I will also do the podcast, which starts next week on the 28th, I believe. And so I'm going to do both. I'm going to do the recorded podcasts, but I'm going to continue to do the video because I love seeing your face as much as you love seeing mine. So I think that's really important. And I was reminded with that. So I want to honor that. And I'm really excited to, as I do a podcast, record also a video. So those are going to be both available. So have a wonderful day. Thank you so much. Bye.